Stream is going.
All right.
We live.
Juicy.
Hold it down. I'm gonna delete this part too. And I should have done this before. Hold on. All right, I can't delete this later. And
All right.
welcome to the B.R.A. podcast. Mr. Angelo, take it away. Frank,
All right.
mic is mute.
Yeah. We can hear you. Your mic is mute. Your mic is mute.
Your mic is mute.
Mute.
Oh yeah, right.
Yes.
Hey,
Uh,
let's go.
yeah. So welcome to, as we've established, episode number 5. You said, Lucas. Yeah. So we
Yeah, that's right.
we're making
Number
progress.
5.
Today's gonna be quite like a short one because it's not really like a question. We're just speculating and just learning new information
True.
and seeing what may have happened to the past and just seeing what we individually know about it. And the thing in particular we'll be discussing is has there been many great resets in our civilization as a people and as a species of animals, I suppose. And the most recent one which we can think of is the Ice Age, which, yeah, the most recent
Ice
one.
Age.
Yeah, the melting of the Ice Age, which may have potentially have caused the Younger Dryas event, which may have potentially have been what the story of the Epic of Gilgamesh, aka the Story of Noah, or the mythological stories of the great floods happening in ancient past may have been. Having said that, well, I guess we're just diving into it, I suppose. Let's just dive into it. There's also another one which also a fact about the Great Dying. Have you guys heard about the Great Dying?
No. What?
So the Great Dying. Screen sharing time.
All right.
Screen sharing. Screen sharing time. Yeah. Am I allowed to share my screen? Am I?
Yeah, you are.
Uh,
I made everyone loud. Yeah, there is.
So there's this for starters. I was going to talk about this, but can you guys see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not that. It's not big, but What is the Great
Oh,
Die?
wait, too big. 50% too small. Can I put original or do you want what?
Yeah,
Like this?
I cannot see any changes. You can probably see the changes stuff for yourself.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
Oh, it's better to read here.
Yeah, I think it's right here.
Oh, the
Yeah,
great.
so the Permian Triassic extinction event, also known as the late Permian extinction event, that let's have let's have a look into it. Let's see it properly.
The Permian Triassic extinction. That's known as the late Permian extinction event. The late Permian extinction event and Permian extinction event, and colloquial as the Great Dying. Forms the boundary between Permian and Triassic geologic periods, and with them the Paleozoic and Mesozoic eras, respectively, approximately 251.9 million years ago, as the largest of the Big Five mass extinctions of the Phanerozoic.
Yes, bro.
I got some names
yeah,
here,
let's
bro.
keep rolling. Let's keep rolling.
It is the Earth's most severe no extinction event, with the extinction of 57% biological families,
Families, yes.
82% of genera, and 81% of marine. What?
Went extinct, bro. So things that we've never seen before, that we don't know. We don't know.
And 70% of
Yes.
terrestrial.
Yes.
That's
Something we
a
don't know, we
lot.
don't know, went extinct. We don't
It is the
know.
largest known mass extinction of insects. There's evidence for
Yes.
one of the
We
three
can begin
distinct
to
pulses
think.
and phases, and wow. Scientific consensus is that the main cause of extinction was the flood basalt volcanic eruptions that created the Siberian troughs, which release huge amounts of carbon dioxide, elevating global temperatures and acidifying the oceans. The level of atmospheric carbon dioxide rose from around 400 ppm to 2. What? That's a lot of carbon.
Yes. So there's this event right here, the Great Dying event.
When was this?
We can find it.
Oh, the great.
When was there?
250. Oh, it was written there. Why didn't I see?
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Of course, it's none of our business, but somewhere out there, our ancestors survived this event, and we're still here today.
There's a 5 extinction events. Can you see
Yeah.
that down there? What are they?
The which one?
The 5. 5. The one here, people also ask.
Oh, yeah, fine.
440 million years ago.
I'm guessing this one, the most recent one, was the dinosaur ones.
The dinosaur. What was the Triassic Jurassic extinction? Is it not the dinosaurs?
Oh, because there's a Jurassic, there's a Triassic, the Devonian,
and the Ordovician.
Ordovician. So maybe like this one, like the crab-looking things, like the one with the pincers and stuff, living in the ocean and stuff that we don't see anymore. Anyway, we can always see what it is, I suppose.
Again, after Earth's worst ever extinction event devastated life, the Permian Triassic extinction event, also known as the Great Dying, took place. Oh no, this one is the Great Dying.
But yes, anyway, getting back to our topic of great research, yeah. I believe like one of the first resets that we've experienced, like which started like being embedded in our DNA to give us a heebie-jeebies about things being reset. Yeah, I think it was a great dying that happened. That's like triggered everyone to be panicking. Like not only just us humans, but even like animals and stuff like that to be self-preserving and to survive by any means necessary.
There was humans here 252 million years ago.
I don't think so. I don't think we were around this time. Maybe like a small geometric version of us. Maybe like a really ancient ancestor version of us.
That's a long time, man.
That's a long time ago, yeah. That's a long time ago.
Mm.
Or for example, like the pyramids, yeah? Like for example, let's just say to get accurately. Or the pyramid like 4,000 years old, 5,000.
Yeah, they're not all that old. 26th century BC.
Yeah, so 3,800 years is, yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's some arguments that it might be older, but who knows?
Yeah, but we are taught that this is like the epitome of
Yeah.
like civilization, though. Like this is what the people that were doing like the most, like they were like the greatest people to ever do it. But did you know that like in Africa, those people already mining, like hold up. You see how all this gold mine is. Gonna blow your mind. But yeah, that's it, by the way.
Oldest mine, 41,000 years ago.
Yes. All right. You can enter the Egyptian pyramids a couple of times there. Those already mining for gold. We're already doing stuff that we can never even think about doing. Like we're just doing it. Does it make sense about the resets? Like, so what I mean is like it feels like there's always times, like where like something happens to like the human race where like we reset, and or maybe the overlords or like the guys in charge see like, all right, these guys are not getting out of control a little bit. Let me start this stuff. And then they create like or they leave a better version of us. And the better version of us takes like the torch to try to repopulate the earth. Like the sort of Noah, basically. Like everyone was deleted, and then he had to repopulate the earth. Does that make sense?
I think the latest reset we had was COVID-19.
COVID-19 is the latest one, yes.
Because after that, nothing was the same.
Yes, and that's a brutal one too. That's a brutal one. Like apparently, wealth, like the wealth shifts, like billionaires became even richer, like it was preposterous, and the poor people even become even more poorer. So like the wealth shifted so much in such an exponential way that we haven't seen in human history before. So yes, you are right in that one. The COVID pandemic may have been the latest reset. And it's about to become even worse too with the new have you seen the new Apple VR glasses?
Yeah.
Bro.
Almost $4,000.
Yes. You just use your hands apparently to click on things and stuff, and it feels like magic apparently. So for everyone that has used it, is saying it feels like magic. And now imagine now with the human condition of people just that. So first of all your friends will be on it, and you're gonna feel left out. Then you're gonna jump on it too, and then cue in all the addiction, cue in all the your life passing you by, where you're just sitting in there, just watching all the cool stuff in there. It's gonna be
everything's gonna become virtually, you know.
I suppose meeting people is gonna be easier. You can just go on Tinder and just meet someone. Because apparently you're not the little avatar thing. It can do the avatar version of you and project it on the other side, like for FaceTime. Because you know how like when someone is FaceTiming you, you won't have the phone to hold to see yourself on the FaceTime thing. Yeah, person projecting an avatar version of you on the person's phone that's calling you for FaceTime. And I'll be capturing like your facial expression and stuff. I was like, damn son, the future's about to change. We're something new. Something new. That's a reset for sure. You know, like on that one. That's a reset.
Nobody's gonna have a reason to leave home.
Do you think there's also been like a rest of information? Like information is now freely available to everyone compared to let's say 10 years ago?
I mean, there is more information, but
and with of course the many information comes also misinformation. So misinformation
that's
and good information is all just being laid out like loose dogs just running around.
That's the hard part now, because now
And
you
of
have
course the
to
young people are eating it
filter
like
everything.
cheesecake. They're just eating it every day.
You
And
can
the
easily
boomers,
manipulate anyone with any information, and nobody just like confirms it or runs a background check to see if the information is actually valid or not.
that is
It's
true.
so easy to just do whatever.
Yeah,
But
I think
at the same time, they still hide a lot of stuff.
Of course, I'm still hiding stuff.
yeah, I think with a lot of information, when there's a lot of information comes with there needs to be great wisdom. And at this point in time, we have so much information out here. We have so much, as you said, misinformation, and we have good information, but it gets, all mixed up. Sometimes people do not know how to differentiate what is good information and what is not good information, because sometimes bad information can sound good to some people, because we are wired in a way that, like good things sound boring and bad things sound good to our taste. So we always gravitate towards the worst information that we need. Therefore, it's not making us wise and allowing us to grow to be able to discern what's the best information out there for us. So very critical.
I mean, negativity sells more, right?
That is true. That is true.
That's right.
Human nature. Shock value, it's called shock value.
Whenever you make anything look appealing or sexy, it's people gravitate toward it, even if it's not true.
There was this picture that Chris showed me. There was this girl. There was two girls who had. These two girls had two platforms, and two platforms and two canvases. The one had a canvas, the other one had a canvas as well. The one on the left, no, on the right, to your right, she didn't really appear, very sexy and sexual and stuff like that. She was wearing, like the stuff that they wear, like apron and stuff like that to draw. So she didn't show much skin, and she drew something very beautiful, something really nice. And then on the other side, there was a girl who was she was very appealing, very sexy, but she drew, like on the picture, like it's just something to tell us how the world works nowadays. She drew a not so good picture. Basically, it showed that she drew a pool, like how the emoji pool, she drew the emoji pool, and then they posted it, on social media. The one who drew the emoji pool, but sort of stood in front of the picture to show herself first, and then the picture just a little bit, got a lot more likes, like over 2,000 likes, and the one that hid behind her art, she sort of put her art before her, and she was behind the art, the art she only got about 32 likes.
Wow. Yeah. Makes
And
sense.
that
Yeah.
explains the world where we live in. The
Mhm,
good art for the lady who actually stood behind the art, who actually
mhm,
puts her art out there,
mhm.
gets less likes compared to the person that actually is hiding the not so good art that she did, but putting herself first. So basically being self-centered. So it's what's selling nowadays.
But yeah,
It's a little bit.
also has been resetted many times. A
I
good
have a feeling
example,
about that too. Yeah.
a good example is music, right? You can have a
Mm.
look that in the 60s, 70s, you can see that music coming out had a root in Christianity. You can hear
Mm,
it, right?
mm,
And then you can see it slowly being driven away from it. And then if you look where we are now, it's just purely money, and it doesn't represent anyone. Because people think that all these rappers be living these lives that they keep rapping about. I can tell you that, brother, 99% is
the show.
just a show.
So sure, that's what they say when they caught, at least when they get caught, when the prosecutors are asking them, so are you a gangster? No, just pretends to be a gangster. So that's when the actual true things come out.
Mm,
And that's when you know who the real ones are.
mm.
And most of them is just a show. They're just putting up a show.
But yeah, and
A
then
performance.
to me, it seems like the further away the countries that were founded in Christianity, the further away they went from it, the worse things got in terms of art, entertainment, and social life and everything.
Mm,
And then we are where we are now.
mm, 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 mm.
It's been
The,
like a reset of a change of mind. It's it has become much easier to manipulate people and
yeah, true. But with on, I feel like it's been like a long process, of
oh yeah.
it's like a farming process. I've been farming, like seeding ideas, propaganda, new law, and then a few years later, a new idea again. They teach it to some dummy teacher. The teacher teaches it to the kids propagate the same idea, and then they add another idea. And that gets to a point where the people themselves are doing the job of like the government and the overlords. Instead of the government doing it, doing like the counseling or like the banning and the stuff, it's the people themselves doing it now. Anyone wants to make a
Mm.
change, they put themselves, get up and smash that person trying to make the change.
That's
Instead
true.
of the actual big brother, the government guys actually coming out to say, hey, Lucas, what you're saying is not okay. You're gonna get you off YouTube. And that's the government will get any more. It's the people themselves doing it. Even if what you say is gonna benefit them, those two get you out of here. Mm,
That's true.
mm. That's the point we are at the moment. That's like,
Everything has been resetted. Everything.
mm, mm, mm.
I feel like at certain points, things get reset. What do you think causes that? Who actually resets it? Who actually drives the reset? What drives the reset?
I can tell you that in terms of social resets, there's definitely individuals behind it.
Mm,
There's definitely individuals behind it. Sometimes it may be somebody who's creative and or inventor, invent something in a good intent with good intentions, and then gets in the hand of somebody who doesn't have very good intentions, and then they push this agenda. But as you can see, most of this stuff, it's always like a little seed that they plant, and then that seed grows, and then once the shift happens, we think it's all of the sudden, but it's not.
mm.
And he's been brewing slowly, slowly,
Yeah.
slowly. You can see with food, you know, the way we do food now. We used to be more self-sufficient with food. We used to know how to produce food more. Now we don't. We
Yeah.
rely on a certain amount of people,
Mm.
which puts pressure on the demand, increases the prices, and it's not very good because now, especially with grain, there's only one company owns
I think that's a
more than
sin.
eighty
There's
percent.
special hell. There's a special place in hell for those
Yeah,
people.
that's more than 80% of grains in the whole world is owned by one
Mm.
company, by less than a dozen men.
Mm. The
They
Monsanto
control.
boys, huh? The
Yeah.
Monsanto boys. Yeah,
So
and they kill like the crops of like mangoes or
mm,
beans. You can replant them. You can only just consume them. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
so it's
Mm.
yeah. You can look at the oil thing with who was his name? The guy who started
Oil.
yeah, he started an oil business, and then he started to buying so many oil refineries, and then he started to bullying the competition by charging people less, so they put people out of business, and then bought it, and now he became just it just monopolized the whole oil thing. And then
It's probably MPS then, like the Prince of Saudi Arabia.
no, he has a very famous last name.
Yeah.
Look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. That's
It-
just
I'm,
him out.
I'm pretty sure you go. If I say the name, you guys will know. Um,
Oil. I'm gonna think of oil. Australian person?
well,
Because
oil industry.
there's an Australian lady that's like a oil
Rockefeller,
mogul
man.
too. Oh,
It's the
Rockefeller.
Rockefeller,
Follow
the
him.
Rockefeller family.
Mm, mm, mm.
It's even here. Like the Rockefeller built an oil monopoly by ruthlessly eliminating most of his competitors. This made him the richest man in the world.
Mm. That's crazy, huh? What the other Rockefeller did as well.
But yeah, I think it's definitely by certain individuals. They just plant seeds, and then when things suddenly happen, we like, oh, what happened? Just in 5 years, all these changes suddenly come up. But nah,
Mm,
it's just a little bit here, and then a little bit influence here, a little bit influence there, and then all these people start coming together, and then boom,
mm,
a sudden shift in economics, social changes, and all that stuff.
mm.
I think
And now
in
that attacking now like definition of words and stuff too. They're researching words.
hmm,
Mm. New definition of words, they're researching social norms. Mm. But those are just social researchings though. Those are like social researchings. And those have been happening like for since the beginning of time, since man existed.
hmm.
Those have been researching stuff. Mm.
But it seems like most of the resets are done by empires. Once an
Yeah.
empire finishes, another one rises, and then things
Mm-hmm.
go a
Mm-hmm.
different way.
Mm. And apparently the empire thing is like the snake that eats itself. It just keeps on going in circles. Like a new one pops up, eats itself. A new one pops up, eats itself. A new one pops up, eats itself. It's the same thing with also the one where I talked about like all of them also have like a significant deity. They've got significant stories and stuff. And then when the resets, the things change. So it's almost like the same thing again. It just keeps on changing and they keep on update feel like they're upgrading leniency of the deity itself. So every time the society resets, the leniency of the deity resets as well. Now we're getting to a point where the leniency of this deity is up to the point where like it's okay to be LGBTQ, blah blah. Like we should accept you. It's okay to be whatever. But it keeps on changing, and it's changing with the time it's going. And now you're seeing like all those things in churches as well now. Like there's the LGBTQ in churches now. There's pastors that are preaching for it now in churches. You say you're saying that like we're in church, we're at the strip club in Las Vegas. Does that make sense? So like it's not confusing people now. So that's true as well. There's that kind of the reset as well. Like you go to church a lot, you probably noticed the changes, or is it still the same?
Bro, I have this thing in my mind that during the 70s in the Great Jesus Revolution, that's what they call, I think.
Mm,
That's when things changed a lot. There were certain changes that needed to happen, but it was too much of the world sipping into the church.
mm,
And instead of people changing, the church changed.
mm,
It's as if Christ sat down to eat with the tax collectors and the prostitutes, and instead of them changing because they were with him, he changes. That doesn't make sense, does it?
yes,
It
that's what
was
I'm
the it was
saying.
it
So
was
like
the
every time they keep
opposite.
on changing the
Yeah, it
dates
was
as
the
well.
opposite. Everybody who came to him and stood around him were the ones who were being changed slowly.
Mm,
They the ones who are being affected by his love, his grace, his glory, his mercy, and all those things. But when look back and you read stuff on it, it shows that too much of what the people were carrying and the culture, the customs, the habits start to seep it in the church. The church needed some changes, but not to the point where too many things from the world were being put into it, if that makes sense.
and I feel like that reset also keeps on going to the point where the whole thing collapses and then the new one gets put in place. Does that make sense? It's
Yeah.
like almost what like the Hindus believe with like the yugas, where like there's like a universal time for everything, where things go from like birth to the experience of life, and then to age to where it becomes old, and then it dies, and then it resets again. Like even if just like animals do it, like they're born, they experience life, they grow, they see all the good and the bad side of life, they reach a point of enlightenment, they die,
Hmm.
they transcend. Yeah.
Because with
No, it's a good point over to bear because they believe
hmm
that society does that as well. Like every society
hmm
starts from like a little village, they start coming together as a collection and they make a city, city to country, country to continent, and then it collapses. Same thing with like even with religion, all that stuff as well. And it
but
keeps on
yeah,
it's a pattern that repeats itself in everything that we do. And it's lucky God, lucky. It's lucky God's hands doing all that to
how,
propel us forward.
when we look at Christianity specifically, those things are predicted, especially in in the New Testament when you read it. In the last day, people won't be able to hear sound doctrine, and they warn about false prophets and people teaching different gospels, and you can see all
Mm,
of that now.
mm,
You got
mm,
all these celebrity pastors preaching about the prosperity gospel and all the different kinds of gospels, and people gravitate towards those things because it's everybody seems to want uh, entertainment, and you have to be entertaining, nice, and there's certain topics that you avoid and then you don't talk about. sweep
Mm.
things under the rug, and everything seems okay and fine.
Mm.
And then so on you go. You can see the biggest churches around the world. They all tend to have uh, this type of mindset. That change. Mm, it was definitely after, Martin. Was Luther and who else? Man, I forgot all the names right now.
No, but I'm feeling
Spurgeon.
what you're saying.
Is
Yeah.
it Charles Spurgeon, Luther? Like
Mm.
around those eras.
Like
Even
when they liberated the Bible to everyone and everyone could access it and could translate it in whichever way they wanted.
even the famous guy with the glasses who used to go, what's his name? He used to preach to like thousands and thousands of people in stadiums across the world. He was super famous, and he was
Which one
pretty
is
good.
this one?
What's
Benny
his
Hinn.
name?
No,
No, no, no,
not Benny Hinn.
no. The not that one. Not that one. Is it Bill? His name or something like that? I can't remember his name now. I forgot all the names for some reason.
Mm.
But yeah.
Yeah, they'll come back. They'll come back. But I
So
do.
the with the church, I think is not necessarily a reset, but just things seem to be going exactly where it was prophesied and predicted.
Mm.
The reset's just gonna happen once Jesus comes back. To be honest, so during those times, it's up to every everyone to pray for wisdom, knowledge, and discernment, to test the spirit, and to not lose hope, because God is the only hope
Mm.
until He comes back, man. Be careful what you feed into your ears.
Until it comes
Guard your
back. Huh?
mind. Guard your mind, because it is your life. That's Proverbs. Proverbs 4. Guard your mind. For your mind is your life. The word for in Hebrew, I know most Bibles translates as heart, but heart, mind, and soul in at least in Hebrew they translate more to mind, but I think heart, mind, and soul it's similar what they trying to talk about, at least from a text point of view. So guard your
Yeah,
mind.
I think with someone that the ancients used to just say like, see no evil, say no evil, and hear no evil. To feed your mind the good stuff, the good positives, the nice, well, the truth really, the truth. You just feed your mind the truth. The truth is key. The truth.
I don't know if his name is Billy Graham. That's it, Billy
Billy
Graham.
Graham sounds familiar. Billy Graham. I
You
heard
know
the name
Billy Graham,
somewhere.
right, Frank?
Yeah, I heard the name somewhere.
Is Frank hearing us or what?
I don't know. I can't hear him.
I
I don't
can't hear
know
him.
what I
I
said.
can't hear him.
Yeah, I'm hearing guys. I'm just
You,
listening.
you
I'm
know Billy
listening.
Graham, right?
I'm muting myself. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. He
yeah.
was. Yeah, this dude was. He's good. He's good. I don't know. Say something, Frank. What you've been hearing us? What? You have some insight.
I'm just observing, listening. Seeing what you guys saying. Just trying to understand where your heart is with all that.
Hmm. I saw another cool chat. I'm trying to find a good one. Which
Cat.
yeah, it's a chat about like time cycles.
Ah.
How like time goes from like a time of like sleeping. So like how people are sleeping, and then we go from like something happens to us, we awaken, then from the awakening we become enlightened, and from the enlightenment again we go back to sleeping. It's like the whole thing about great men create weak men, and easy
Oh.
times, and easy times create weak men and weak men create hard times. It's like a cycle which just keeps on happening in humanity. Yeah, it's like an unavoidable one. And I've heard it happens like on a large scale. And with that large scale, when the weak men create hard times, apparently that's when there's a lot of now weird things are happening. A lot of weird things are happening until the strongmen go like, right, enough is enough. Boom, Holocaust. People are being killed. People are being killed again. And then we go, oh my God, why did this happen? There's an intervention
You
again.
know,
This keeps on happening.
you know what?
There's a chat for it. Yeah, but go on, Frank.
Do you know what I think about that, right? I think that's why you have certain people, certain group of people that obviously they've acquired so much level of wealth and power, and those power never go away. If you ever wondered why, for a long period of time, certain group of people or families, like that power, they've retained that power and they've kept that power for a long period of time, and that power is going, and it looks like it's still gonna keep going, even if the names change of the people, but you still find the power still stays in that particular family, or the wealth still stays in that family. I think, like when that thing, like when weak time creates, strong men, strong men create easy time creates weak men and stuff like that. I think for those strong men that have acquired all the stuff, only the wise ones are the ones that raise their kids wisely and not give them the easy time all the time. They actually involve the kids, include the kids, and tell them stories about how hard life was, and get them to
keep your
continue,
heritage, your history, and all that
to
stuff.
continue, to continue the custom or the family's heritage, and just to continue, keep going, keep the wealth going, keep the knowledge going. The ones that, because you have parents that, like, no, I'm gonna wait to have money so I can create good times for my family, for my children, so I can have, so I can buy my kids everything that they need and stuff like that. In all, it's actually good. You want to have a good job, you want to have money, enough money to actually create a good environment. Like for your kids to not lack anything, buy your kids everything and stuff like that. But most of the time, those parents forget that when you actually create an easy time for your kids will be dumb, stupid, if you don't do it right. And that's why, you have a mass of people that when they acquire a lot of money, they provide everything to their kids, and the kids get everything, and they think everything just came easily. And so they don't even have to work hard for even creating anything for the kids. So, and that's when the cycle keeps going back and forth, back and forth. So it all starts with the parents that have reached that peak of, what, I have everything at this point, but I don't want to create an easy time for my kids, but I don't want to create an easy time and just let them go by and create a hard time for the next generation. I want them to keep the family knowledge and the family wealth, keep that going. And that's when they actually raise their kids wisely. And only a few families do that. Not all families do that. Only a few families do that. And those are the ones that acquire a top level of wealth and power. And in a sense, they're the ones that actually pretty much run the world. You will see it. Now we think that the government or the presidents or like the journals are the ones that run the world. No, it's a few families that actually run the world, and they try to hide their names as much as possible so we wouldn't know who they are. They're the ones that sort of create that reset, social reset and stuff like that. They create a social reset so they can have an advantage over everything. Because when they see when the average people start to climb, get a little bit powerful and strong and get wealth and get knowledge and stuff, they're like, yeah, no, let's create a little bit of noise and bring everybody down again so they can go up again and slowly. That's That's what I think. So it's a little bit interesting. It's interesting to see that.
I think part of that is because also people haven't realized that you need tension in order to live, in order to grow, in order to change. We have come to a point where everyone just wants to be nice and live a life without tension, without any sort of negativity, without any sort of sadness. And everything has to be good vibes only positivity, and with failing to realize that without tension, it's the idea when it says iron sharpens iron, and you look how iron sharpens iron, it's there's tension, like it's one touching each other and literally taking off slowly pieces. It's like when you rub
Of
one
each other.
iron on, it's you're literally taking off iron, like pieces of metal. So it's creating tension, and tension, negativity, sadness has a purpose in life. And if you take all those things away, then you create people, well, soft, weak, brittle, because you don't have what you need in order to grow and to create. It's the same thing as if you're playing guitar, right? When you're playing guitar, your fingers at first they soft, so it hurts. But with time, the skin becomes a callus, and then you get used to it and it doesn't hurt anymore. So that's the idea. With tension, the knife gets sharper and then you can cut through things. But without tension, then it grows dull and then we won't be able to use. It's no longer useful. So that's the idea that we're missing. Also, which brings us to the when Frank said the few only families run the world, brings us to the World Economic Forum. They're running a lot of things these days, bro.
The showers, huh?
Apparently, I saw a clip of this guy saying that if they want to put people in certain positions, they just train them. Like the Prime Minister of Canada, he was trained by the World Economic Forum. Like it's
Yeah, they just plant them. They've got cells where they plant people and just let the people run their beats for them. The aim of them is for us to own nothing and be happy, and for them to own everything. What Bill Gates is out there buying all the farmlands, selling us all the Pfizer's, the vaccines. He's like the number one donor of the World Health Organization, which shouldn't be happening. The World Health Organization shouldn't be accepting 80% of its donations from Bill Gates.
80%.
Yes, by the way, yes, it's 80%. That's crazy, isn't it? Like that shouldn't be happening. You should be saying that why are we taking his money? Why are we taking his money right now? And then
It's
next
the
minute,
world. It's the world.
yes,
It's the
the
world.
next thing we know, the World Health Organization leader, the guy, goes like, oh no, we have to listen to the science. What does the science say? Stay at home. What does the science say? Wear a mask. What does the science say? Get vaccines. What does the science say? If you don't agree with any of that, you are the devil, and no one should talk to you. You should live in a basement and stay from civilization. Get your vaccine. That's what the science says. And the next minute, oh no, the vaccine doesn't work. Oh no, it works 80%. No. It works 50%. Wrong. No, it works 30%. No, it works 10%. Now Google it. You know, if you Google it right now, what's the efficacy of the vaccine? This is what taking a piss, bro. They're taking a piss.
And you see, while we're on that topic, right? of how they keep changing their information when the people, when there was actually people, credible people that were saying the truth out there, the truth at that point was deemed misinformation. Those people were canceled. Most people, like those people, lost their jobs, they lost their lives, their livelihood, right? And then now going back to the today's information now, just like what you said over there,
by the way, no apologies.
and there's no apologies to about it. They're unapologetic. And now apparently the vaccine is just something that you have to be, just take. It doesn't really protect you 100%, and you can also transmit the virus. Before, apparently, when you take the vaccine, you will not transmit the virus. When you see politicians beginning to be like doctors and telling you advice that only your doctor should be telling you, should always have a point of question mark on that, because these guys, they get information from, obviously, like those powerful people, the top of the chain, those guys that run the world, and tell them, hey, you're gonna tell your people that this was gonna happen, and that's what's gonna happen. You have no choice. And those people are like, oh, okay, because they're on the bottom, so they have to do it. And even if people are aware, they make you think that you're crazy because you're aware, if you're aware of the truth. But then sometimes you even get persecuted for it. And that's the fact. When I got both vaccines, right? I already knew the vaccine won't do anything to me. I was to get the virus. If I had to get the virus, I'll get the virus. If I got exposed to it, I already knew, right? But I was hearing all over the place that, oh no, if you get the vaccine, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. I got the COVID. And I got the new variant of the COVID, right? It wasn't fun. It wasn't good, right? Even though I didn't really get sick that much, but it just felt very different. It didn't feel like a cold. And we called the hospital or the clinic. They were like, oh, just treat it like a normal common flu. Wait a minute. You treat it like a common flu.
It's not a
So how do
common
you treat it
flu.
like a common flu? Just drink paracetamol. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But that's what the people. But that's what the people were saying back in the day. It's just like the flu. It's just like the flu. If you're weak, if you're miss week, it sucks to be you. People die. With cough and
Do you know what the funny thing
diseases and
is?
stuff like that.
You know what the funny thing is? Before I got the vaccine, I didn't get COVID. I got 3 vaccines, then I got COVID. What the hell?
Then you go
That's
COVID.
crazy. That's crazy. And what do they mean by vaccine?
There's something behind that.
When you are not immunized from the thing you're being vaccinated against.
Exactly.
Now we're gonna change the definition of vaccine. Like, okay, so we are moving goalposts, huh? So you can't score here, we're gonna move the goalpost over here, score over here. Like, all right, that's what we're doing.
Bro, in this life, we don't own anything. Not even our souls. So
that is true.
And I think that's fine. What do you think? Because we're not of this earth.
As long as your soul is in the right hands, it's fine. Okay. Let's not be
I know, right?
Yeah. Because if your soul is not in the right hands, it's a kind of bad deal. Right?
Yeah, you are late.
You're late.
I think, but that's a good thing now. The fact that we don't own anything, and we shouldn't even want to own anything, because we're not of this earth. We're not of this world, right? We are on the way. We are on a path to where we're supposed to be going, to where the real us will be. Here it's just like a road test, and the road test is very short. Because I've always had this thought, I'm like, oh well, time on earth is really short, but we're going somewhere, and that somewhere is actually in eternity. It's actually long. It's literally forever, and that's where we should be longing. Like that's what we should be looking forward to. That's where we should be like, I want to have the glory over that. I want to make sure I live this path in a way that when I go up there in good terms with the person that's actually the leader of that place. I want to suck up to that person right there,
Mhm.
where I'm going. I don't want to suck up to people on here because I'm just on the way. I'm probably gonna die. Like this body's gonna go away, but my true self is gonna enjoy the afterlife. So that's what comforts me, because when I look at how much like certain group of people want to acquire everything and trying to suppress everyone else, uh, and obviously not allow them to even get to the level of even acquiring and having everything easy in their life, and stuff like that. It makes me wonder, like those people don't have, they don't they first of all, they're scared of death to begin with. They don't know where they'll be going after death, afterlife. So they want to maximize their life on earth to begin with. That's what I think. Secondly, because they don't know where they'll be going after life, after this life right here, they want to make sure, well, at this point in time, because I don't believe in life after death or anything like that, I want to try and ruin everyone's life and trying to suppress anyone because I have so much power and stuff like that. And that on itself, they think that they have so much power, but they don't know that they're actually ruining their own future of where they will be going after life. So, like the Bible says, the first will be last and the last will be first. You can have many interpretation of that, but that's what, like in that particular essence, that's what it means as well. You finish first on this earth by trying to suppress other people, you'll find yourself last in the afterlife. But if you finish last on this earth, you've tried your best, and you'll find yourself that things didn't really work out. I lived a really tough life out here, but I still kept my head up. I kept my head up, knowing where I'll be going. It's where I'm gonna be enjoying life. That's where you'll be the first. You'll be up there enjoying, kicking it with Jesus, on a DJ booth, doing the little, dance and stuff. It's gonna be awesome, man. So I'm looking
Since
forward.
since we're on the Bible topic, the the tower that they built to go up to heaven, that was a great reset too.
The Tower of
Yeah,
Babel, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. With language mostly
With
as well.
language.
Yeah.
That was that's a great reset.
Tower of
Mm.
Babel.
Because
Actually,
that happened after Noah, right?
actually, quite interesting story. Actually,
No,
because
I think the Tower of Babel was before.
yeah, it
No,
was before.
No, that was
that was
after the
before.
flood.
It
No,
was one of the
before.
consequences that led the gods
That
to
was before.
do the research, to do the floods. That's one of the reasons
True,
why.
true, 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 true. Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
main the ma-
yeah.
they
I
with
say
remember.
Nimrod,
they
with
say
Nimrod
they say
and
the
the
main
worshipping of
reason
Baal.
they say the
Yeah.
main reason why God sent the flood. Some people say is one is because the weakness of man on earth, and second because the Nephilim. Some
Abominations. Yeah, there were too many
the
abominations.
Nephilims.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's two reasons that some scholars say, but I guess if we go, if we study deeper, we might
Mm.
figure it out more,
I
especially
think
if we
there's evidence
study the
too, though,
ancient script
Dude,
of the flood.
the
Man, do you know there's
of the
evidence
of
of
of the of the of the abominations
ah
and
there's
the wickedness.
there's evidence of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
mm,
Oh, yeah, there is. Yeah.
Like I
Oh,
saw a
you
dude
saw it?
who
Like,
went
where
there.
did you see it? Where did you see it?
I saw this guy who went where Sodom and Gomorrah
Yeah, because I saw
used to
that too. I
be
saw a
on
video
YouTube,
on
and he was
Geographic
showing
Channel.
all the sulfur on the ground
Yeah, yeah.
mm.
and
And
how it
that place
happens
is
only
like,
to a certain temperature and all that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mm.
that's
that's
plenty of
crazy.
evidence.
That's crazy, man.
And some scientists say that there's evidence for the flood because of how it reshaped the earth
Mm.
and how there's some trees is stuck deep beneath the earth, and they say it's impossible for that just to happen naturally. It needs, and
And the
how,
earth literally has scars of like
yeah.
some water sweeping through it from over like
So
the Sahara, all those places.
So you put that together with all the accounts of it,
Accounts,
because
yeah.
it's not just in the Bible. It's many ancient Near East cultures also had similar accounts. So it
In
just proves
America,
that thing
Native
happened, bro.
Americans, Native
The
Americans
Great
have
Flood
it, the
happened.
Asians have it.
I
Great
think that
Oh,
was the greatest reset that actually eradicated a lot of humans. Like pretty much every humans died.
Oh, yeah, humans, animals, everything. The
mm,
earth reshaped
Humans, and
everything.
that's where we have the new. We now have all the new races that came out. Obviously, at
Mm.
that point, like even if you read in the Bible, that's where you have like the sons. Like most of them were dark skinned. Like, and that's why they say like most people come from most on this earth come from Africa. They originate from Africa. There's a little bit of evidence about that from that particular era, because based on where obviously did you see there was documentary about where the Noah's Ark ended as well? Have you guys seen it all
Yeah, apparently
online?
there's a picture that there's on top of a mountain there.
the Mount Ararat thing.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah,
the.
and Ham, one of Noah's son, he migrated towards like Ethiopia, so like around Africa, Ethiopia, around that area, and he was responsible pretty much for the people of that particular area, and then the other sons went down to like the Middle East and the other sons. So basically, it's split off like you had Africans, black people, and there was the Middle Eastern who were also pretty much like dark skinned as well, and you had also the Asians who were also dark skinned as well, and they all spread and created the whole family, and that's how we have the population, the earth repopulated as well, as the land was also separating, as Africa, Europe, America, Australia were sort of spreading and separating. That's how you have all those people living in those lands, sort of staying in those lands and populating and creating those different races.
Just FYI,
I have a question.
there's actual information for that. I know that's a speculation of yours, but there's actual information for that, how the human
Yeah, it's in the
migrated from
Bible.
Africa. No, like actual evidence, like you can see, the human
The
migration.
But
Bible,
what do you mean
Without
actual evidence? You
like
know there's a
how
the
you
Bible.
know there's a atheist
no, as in like tangible
argument.
evidence. It's not
It's
like
like,
someone,
oh,
it's not like
you can't
someone.
use the Bible for history reference.
No,
Brother.
you don't listen, geniuses, the both of
Brother.
yous.
Brother.
You just can go off that and between that story. One reason, first of all, I heard that story is because people use that story to demonize black people. They say Ham was the cursed kid of Noah that saw Noah naked and stuff. That's why niggas are black because you saw Noah
No, no,
naked
no,
and
no,
you
no.
got
No, I
cursed.
never heard that
Actually,
before.
That's a
Where the
word
heck did you hear
rhetoric.
that?
That's a word
Ham
rhetoric.
was in the Middle East.
That's a word rhetoric I've
I
heard.
never heard that before. Where
That's a
did you hear
word
Listen,
that?
rhetoric I've
and that
heard.
story is actually in the Bible too. It's actually in the Bible.
That's a
That's where the
word
story
rhetoric
comes
I've
from.
heard. I
Why do
refuse that we
people
are
literally
cursed. No, we are black
do
because we are
people literally
cursed.
say that?
Yes, people literally say that.
Because
People literally say that the rhetoric.
the son of
Mhm.
Noah who saw
Yeah,
him
like
naked.
what are you on about right now, bro?
What the hell?
What are you on
Well,
about right now?
I
Never heard
personally,
that
I
before.
haven't
What?
really, I haven't heard, I haven't seen
I never
any
heard that
person
before.
saying that
I never
about
heard
black
that.
people. But
That's
I've,
why the
Crazy, man.
maneuvers
I've,
used. That's to your shit. That maneuvers used because of that
I have.
stuff. They work,
That's
people.
Those are
crazy. That's crazy.
like the Christians, like the white people back in the day. Like they just had
Mhm.
a certain and this is what I've never understood, and I will never understand. And I think us Africans or black people will never understand. There is an eternal beef that the whole world that don't look like us have towards us, and we don't know what it is until today. It's not because the Bible says that we were cursed, because that's not even us. Ham, I just made a mistake. Ham was the one that went into the Middle East, and the Middle Eastern, originally based on the Bible, is what it says that they were the ones that were cursed. And if you look at it, the lifestyle and everything, what happened around the Middle East, you know, like the people that populated Egypt, you know, Iraq, Iran, all those people. Like if you look at the what's been happening over there, you know, like you can sort of, you know, see, oh, maybe I don't know, could be the reason why, but that's not the reason why, because we don't know as well. We can't say that we know for sure that because they were cursed, that's what's happening there. Or those Christians can't say we are black, so that's why we are cursed because we, you know, like our ancestor looked at their father and saw them naked.
It's
And so
dumb
the
as
father cursed him.
shit.
So the
It's
curse
dumb as
came from the
shit. That's why
father.
it's dumb
You know,
as
so
dumb as rocks.
I don't
That's
think
what I'm
that's
saying,
even valuable.
That's not
That's not valid. It's not
It's
valid at
dumb.
all. But I think the Bible makes it very clear though. Like if you read the Bible, you know, really, you know, like with a certain amount of open mind and having the Holy Spirit guiding you through it, obviously you will find more information out there to sort of help you understand the Bible better. But all those information is literally secondhand information from the Bible. The Bible is literally the source of every information that we have on earth, if that makes sense.
No, it does not make sense. There's literature that's older than the Bible. There's literature that's older than the Bible. Why would you say that the Bible is the source of all the information on earth, bro?
How old is the Bible?
Not even 2,000 years old.
But what's the
Since
Bible?
Jesus died, yeah.
But what's
Before
the Bible
Jesus.
even?
It's a collection of books. Simply as
There you
that, a
go.
collection of books.
Books,
Some that were
books
omitted, some
that
that were still there.
exactly books that were written from. Look, we're not gonna argue about what the Bible is and how old the Bible. But what I'm saying is,
Not
you know, like
arguing, correcting
the word,
information. Correct
the
information.
word, the word of God, the word of God, which is pretty much the Bible, is where every source of information that we have on this earth derives from. Every scientist, every single person on this earth that gets information, somewhat, some way, there is some information of that in its organic form in the Bible. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm trying to follow.
Me too.
I'm trying to follow. I've tried.
look at them eyes. Looking around like, ooh, what's happening over there? Yeah, that's what I'm trying.
I'm trying to
What?
follow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to follow.
Yeah. So, yeah. So basically, like, first of all, like, I had a question. Do you guys think before Adam and Eve, were there other humans before then or not?
There is a Dr. James Tour question. You don't know Dr. James Tour? He studies biochemical, bioscience, something about molecules, right? So he has more knowledge and understanding about that sort of a question. Because even within theologians and scholars, there's still this debate whether, how old is the earth, and is the earth creation account historically blah 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 blah. Who knows?
You know how, like, one thing that puzzled me, right, is the Torah. The Torah is old, right? And the books that
If I'm not
make up
remember,
the Torah, the
the
books that make
Torah,
up the Torah, because Genesis is part of the books that make up the Torah. It's really old.
yeah, I think the Torah was written Paleo Hebrew, which is the first
There's some
form,
books.
the first
There's
form
some
of
books.
boxed Hebrew. These box letters that we see now, Paleo Hebrew was the first form of it, and then before that it was just pictures, and then
Aramaic. So there was Aramaic, which transcends Hebrew, And some of the books, obviously, later on was written, obviously, they were not even written on paper, they were written on leaves. And those leaves sometimes, like they started to fade out. Like some leaves that they found was really like top-notch leaves, that those words like really stayed on leaves. And then decided to obviously draw on like branches. Do you know how you have trees? And like if you cut a tree and take out the skin, like behind the skin, you can naturally write stuff behind the skin of the tree in there. And sometimes that will sort of stay a little bit longer. That's how long back in the day. We didn't even have paper back in the day. We didn't even have like, I don't want to think that we didn't have scientists, because obviously I wasn't there back in the day. But I thought at those times they already knew that the world was round, obviously round. And there was a sun, we had the moon, and we had all these planets around us. So that again, obviously, right now we have scientists to actually teach us more about that. So it's not religion anymore, it's more scientists that teach us all the stuff. But when you look at it, it's like scientists back in the day, where did they get that information from? Where did they get that, sort of, blueprint of trying to understand how the world is? And on it looks like, for me, based on my knowledge, I think only the Torah or the Bible has those type of information. And then all other religions that come after that was born from the religion that obviously, was inspired to write the Torah, they sort of got that information and incorporated it into their own religion and into their own Bible. So that's what puzzles me, and it amazes me.
Well, with regards to the space stuff or like the stars and stuff, like people have been studying that for ages, way before even people started writing the Bible. Like the Dogon, for example, the Dogon people from Africa, they
Just a
have.
second, I'll be back. Yeah, I'm just gonna. This guy needs his pacifier. I'll be back. Just keep talking.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
hearing.
Well, I'll carry on. Yeah. So they have like this ritual which they do every 60 years. Yeah. Every 60 years they do a ritual. And after the ritual, they sculpt a little statue, like a little figurine. They put it into a room. Yeah. So this Westerner guy went there to do the celebration with them. They did the ceremony. After the ceremony, they sculpted the little idol thing. Then they put it into the room, and they were like, "What, a 60-year anniversary for it, for doing it, yeah?" And then when they went there, he noticed that there were a lot of those little figurines. And it was like, so every 60 years you do this celebration. He goes like, yeah, every 60 years. And he did the mathematics. The thing went back to like the 13 BC, before Common Era. Yeah. And then he was like, what do you do this? He goes like, oh, we celebrate the gods of Jupiter and stuff like that, because it was for them to keep track of the astronomy and the movement of the planets and stuff. Way before people even thought about any of that stuff. The Dugans never
But
already.
the stars, planets, and all that stuff has, especially ancient Near East times, all these things always has been related to gods.
Mm, mm.
Always.
Like even the names of all of them have been named after gods,
Mm.
like Mars, the god of war, Jupiter, the god of beauty, all those things have been named after gods. Mm. That's
Yeah.
quite fascinating stuff. But the mystery of like especially with like the human migration. The human migration, you can what are set people now, yeah, in regards to like the things about evolution or about space, about that stuff. Look at the evidence, look at yourself, look at yourself and do this, look at yourself, you exist, yeah. And then Google like how odd is human DNA? Just try googling it. Let's see, I'll do it on my phone.
Mhm.
You see how mind blowing these things are.
I'm still a little bit skeptical about this idea of human beings know how the age of all things.
So the human DNA.
We don't know how old we are.
The
At
human
this point in
DNA.
time.
I
No,
mean, everything.
DNA is like the thing
This
that you can see, you can
carbon
trace, you
dating
can trace
stuff.
the helix, yeah, the two helix stick that back up the human makeup, the human blueprint, the building blocks of humans. Yeah, you can trace it back to the number one guy that started spreading it. Yeah, and the first spread of it started 430,000 years ago. That's when the first human started fucking and having babies and spreading that DNA.
430.
They may not have looked like us, like we look today, or like black and white and Asians. They might have looked a little slightly different due to their population at that point, but due to like crossbreeding and racial mixing, we look like this today. But the original ones, like the Proconsul africanus, Homo habilis, Gigantopithecus, way older than us, way older, and we all share the same DNA. And just putting it out there too, between us and chimps, yeah, there's a 4% DNA difference between us and chimps. But guess this crazy one. Guess the DNA difference between me and Lucas. Have a guess, Lucas. What do you think our DNA difference is?
No idea.
0.001.
Damn, that's yeah.
All right. Not even me and Frank, me and you. 0.001% DNA difference.
It just proves how complex.
It's complex shit, yes. So you just can't say that
Now,
and
with
say,
look,
I'll hold the answer.
just looking at that, you want to tell me that somehow something exploded and then
Yes. When you start saying
everything
that,
just
no,
came
speak
to
my
be?
language. When you speak my language, I say, all right. We don't know
What do you
was an
mean,
accident.
bruv?
But
Like it
Alright.
exploded,
but you know,
expanded, molecules,
but you know,
bacteria, everything
before,
start coming together, and suddenly
yeah,
DNA is created.
0.001%, bro. Difference.
God, man.
and before
That's
that
crazy.
Somebody created it. Has to be
was
That's
actually
crazy.
It
that
has to be
information was believed that everything on this earth was an accident. At that point, it was actually believed. It was actually believed that we actually come from the. I definitely think that we did not come from monkeys. I
And
don't think
DNA screams that. DNA screams that. We're not from monkeys.
You know,
DNA. So like I said again, if you like the answers, look at yourself.
apes.
The
I
DNA,
like
give you the
apes,
answers.
monkeys, stuff. We did not come from them.
Mm.
Before that was science. We were taught that we come from apes, we come from monkeys.
So
but
different
now
from chimps.
we don't come from monkeys.
So different.
Right? So, and that's the same thing, like, but then if you look at the word of God, it never says that we came from monkeys, but it says that we were created in the image of God. There's no science that claims that. Only the word of God claims that.
Be accurate of the gods. They say let us create them in our image, not in my image.
Yeah. No.
God.
God is like, it's not just one person. God is not one thing. God is the three. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. That's them. God. So we were created in the image of God, right? So we were created in the image of God. There's no science that talks about that. And if you look at yourself deep inside, you see the complexity of the human anatomy, just the human beings, how complex we are, how we are built. We have a body, we have a soul, our feelings, emotions, and we have a spirit that a lot of people pay off. People do not understand us like the spirit, like the breath of life, because that's what it is. That breath that powers this system right here, like the body system. If you look at that, the trio again, it makes sense to me. That to me, it makes a lot of sense compared to the science that has been taught to us at school by scientists that claim to, obviously, they have all the evidence and stuff like that, and they say all these things, but then, like there's this old these old books, this old text, like even in the Torah, it's like in the Torah, and it tells all about this stuff. And I think about it, I'm like, feel like these scientists better start going back to the Bible and getting some information from this from this book up here, man, because there's a lot more information that they're missing out. If they can start off here and do a lot more research from some information here and expand on that, that could give us something to actually ponder around, like something to really think about and trying to understand, rather than creating something from trying to completely brush off the Bible and say, no, we're going to start off from something that we are speculating, something that we're just thinking about, you know? And that has led a lot of people astray, a lot of people, you know? And obviously we have, you know, the Rotten Tomatoes from the church that have also led a lot of people astray to sort of look at the Bible in a more bad way, you know? And that also has created a lot of, you know, negative situations for us humans to really get to understand who we truly are and trying to understand evolution overall, you know, like how the planet was created, you know, how the universe was created, how, you know, animals, you know, how those animals that were here before us and how they went extinct, and how to even understand what those animals were and how they looked, and how those animals evolved to the animals that we have today, and how we also have evolved to who we are today from the previous humans that was obviously used to be back in the day before, you know. That's what always, you know, like always crosses my mind. Like I'm always thinking about that always, and just be like, just curiosity. I'm always thinking about that, you know.
I'd say this: some Christians at some point in history have done a great disservice in presenting God
You
uh,
can thank the Knight Templars for that.
to people in a way that has created this, you know, a lot of
Apparently, the Knight
misunderstanding.
Templars would pull up, or rather pull up, in a
Not
place like
all, but some people
in a
definitely.
little village in France. They'll tell you
Mhm.
like, all right, you're about to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and if you don't, you're going to meet him. What would you like? What would you like? What would you like
That's
to do? Accept him or meet him? Since we're accepting it, why? I'm not admitting him yet, and I'm still gonna do some stuff, bro. Huh? I think that's us to make. No, but the Net Templars were brutal. The Net Templars were extremely brutal. All right, then you have to give them their cake. They changed the world. They changed the world drastically. They changed the world
I wasn't talking about that,
exponentially.
but okay.
Mm. No, like it's a fun
wa-
story.
yeah,
It's a fun
I
story
wasn't talking
of
about that, but
sellouts.
he went there.
Mm.
Sure.
No,
But if you look at the
it's part of
DNA,
your history. It's part of your legacy. It's okay to accept it. It's
no, I
okay.
that's not what I
It's all
meant. I
right.
just meant that I wasn't going there, but sure.
It's all right. It's part of the history of
If it took that turn, oh well.
mm.
Um, another thing, like in the DNA, apparently they have discovered that the DNA has letters. Is it letters or numbers? It's letters or numbers,
Oh yes. Like
and
the
it spells the name that God gave to Moses
yes.
in Hebrew.
I've heard of that one too. I've heard of that one. Like literally,
Yeah,
I've heard
like
of that one.
literally.
Yes, I've heard of that one. Mm. And apparently, if you look at DNA, it really looks like someone coded it. Like it looks like the
Yeah,
ones and the
it's like
zeros in a
yeah, it
computer.
looks like code,
Yeah,
man.
like just binary, just like,
Mm.
and it fixes injuries. It fixes faulty codes. It literally recaptures who we are and builds us. It maintains the form of
It's
Lucas.
beyond reason to think that
Mm,
just from explosion things just came to be.
mm,
You you know, even the laws of, you know, for every action there's a reaction. Like you need somebody to cause an action
mm,
in order to get a
mm.
reaction.
Maybe it's that complex that uh that single event was like the egg that gave birth to
Mm.
everything, like the boom, consciousness is born. matter, space, and everything. And it just kept on going. And it's still going in a way that it's so ambiguous and we don't know where we're going. Maybe we're like a butterfly that's about to give birth to like something bigger, or when we work together, we create something that's bigger than the universe. Like we've got a bigger purpose. But definitely working together is part of it. So love is part of it. For us to transcend this thing of our this reality, this dimension. Working together is part of it. We need to work together to get that achieved. So yes, I'm here for the togetherness, the love, the
on that topic, when you're saying together, right? Who do you think facilitates that for us to be together, to work together? What works? What sort of? I'm curious. What do you think helps us to stay together or keeps us together?
Like social norms, the zeitgeist, culture.
But where those social norms come from? Where does moral social norms come from?
So the historically accurate answer for social norms, yeah, and for lots of they come from things that we've tried. That for example, if everyone was playing with uranium, yeah, and then suddenly one day, one person clashes two uranium blocks, boom, a nuclear goes off, and then we all go like, whoa, 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 let's not play with uranium. If you clash they all go off. So it becomes a cultural thing to say we do not touch uranium. Uranium is the devil. Let's keep it from uranium.
But that's
Does that
not
make
really a
sense?
moral. It's more like, oh, somebody messed up and we all learned from it. So let's
Lived
not do it.
experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
So
like lived experience.
so there's lived experiences.
I'm talking about how am I gonna explain this? Let's put it this way. At a certain point, with the growth of Christianity has influenced most of the moral laws that we have
Yeah, the
even
human
present
spirit.
today, right?
Human spirit, yeah.
Because there was some point that sacrificing babies to gods was the social norm, depending where you were from.
Yeah.
Now they just do it differently under the rugs.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like yeah, yeah,
But do you
I
know what
think
I mean? There
yeah,
was a point that was there, and then okay, everyone's like, let's you know, this doesn't look good. Where does that come from? From Christianity, from Judaism, right? That you know what I mean? So there's a certain level of not certain level. We need to look at God as the one who gave us these certain morals that we have kept. Well, not all nations, but through the Hebrews and coming to Christianity have kept. And let's be honest, those morals made society better.
100%.
And whenever people
And like
start
even
breaking those
even
morals, then
laws protects the little guy, protects like the weak person that cannot defend themselves. So laws play a big win down too.
So yeah.
Do you guys think? Have you guys heard this thing called the laminin protein? Laminin.
Laminin. Oh.
Let's
Yeah.
it out.
If you type it, if you search for it,
Open on the screen.
LAMIN. LAMININ. So basically, that's, do you know what? Again, for me, right? When I know that really God is really in the midst of everything that's happening and trying to show us that He actually created everything with our body, right? And this is in every animal, but mostly for us in the meso capacity, in the macro capacity, and also just like even in a group capacity, right? I think what we long for is a togetherness. We want to live together. But then there's a certain group of people that want to sort of branch off and create their own thing, but also come back and lead the people that want to live in the togetherness. So they come out and want to come back and lead those people, because those people are sort of, like there's a lot of them, they're just happy cruising and stuff like that. But the other guys that are sort of corrupted, they come out and want to come back and sort of lead them. When I look at our body has the thing that holds our body together, right? Like a protein. If you look at the microscope, if you look at the picture of the laminin up there, it looks like a cross, right? It looks like a cross. And obviously Jesus, there's Christians that did some stuff, or Jesus died on a cross, and the laminin is actually a cross. It literally looks like a cross if you look at the microscope. And so there's a scientific
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
diagram. Laminin. You don't know what laminin is?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you look at laminin as well, the only thing that holds us together, right, it is the laminin. And laminin, there is it's built up of three things. So it's built up of three things. And those three things, when I look at it, like
I'm looking at it right now.
Are you looking at it? Could you please put it on the screen if anyone can share, so I can have a look at it, so I can remind my brain, because I probably forgot. Like I forgot, because I looked at it ages back. Because there's some scientific names, the alpha and all the other stuff. But if you look at it again, like even how the Bible, describes who God is, how, like there's always three, like created men in the image of God, like we were created in the image of the Father, the Holy Spirit, and God. And then how a man creates a child, it takes three, like to build a home, it creates three, in the beginning, the word was with God, the word was God, and so on. And then again, three, it comes out to three. So the Trinity. And that makes me think, because like there's evidence of all those things everywhere around the place. And the laminin is one thing that when I look at it in society, in our body, in our DNA, how it holds the whole body together, it's so amazing that you can actually see evidence, like even in a community, in a country, how God is trying to hold us together, but we're trying to, like sort of get corrupted and come out and sort of separate and sort of, divide ourselves. But then, because that's the same thing with the body. The body, like the laminin holds us together, but when a virus comes in, it tries to separate one part of a body from the whole body to try and kill the body. That's amazing. That just blows my mind away. I'm like, wow. And you can relate that to a whole lot of things around in the society, in our body, with God. God is trying to tell us something, but we're not really in tune to listening to him and stuff. It doesn't really have to, we don't really have to go back with God, but even just, with society and science, like all that's already evident as well. So that blows my mind. I'm always curious about that. Oh yeah, there is. Is it again?
Laminins, a family of glycoproteins of the extracellular matrix of all animals. They are major components of the basal lamina, one of the layers of the basement membrane, the protein network foundation for most cells and organs. The laminins are important and biologically active part of the basal lamina, influence cell differentiation, migration, and yeah, it's late.
Adhesion.
It's late.
And if you look at it, they contain three different chains. So there's the A, obviously the alpha, and then there's the what's that? Is that beta?
Alpha, beta, gamma.
There you go.
Got it.
Encoded by 5, 4, and 3 paralogous genes in humans. This right here, there's more of this in our body than there is stars out there in the universe.
Would you say there are more laminins
That
than
like
stars?
that we will never know how much we have of this because there's so many of this, because they are so macro that you can never count. You can't count them in our body. So there's speculations, obviously, that because we also don't know how much stars there are out there in the universe. If you look at it in a microscope, you can actually see how dense it is in our body, just in our cell, in our obviously the cells, because it holds cells together, right? There's a whole lot more of them, just like there is, stars out there in the universe. That's what blows my mind as well. So we actually have the universe in us, we don't even know. And that's how it looks like as well. If you look at it, from the top part of the microscope, I think
Oh, this is
it looks a little bit like
a real picture.
What didn't what's his face? Didn't Luke say that the kingdom of heaven is within us?
boom.
Electromicroscopic structure of agrine and mapping of its binding site in line. That's a lot, man, here already. Look at this. Look at this.
This is confirmation, man.
Yep. All right. What's the next great reset? I think it will be economic.
Economic. Yeah. That's the one. We're gonna be eating insects. We're gonna be feeding us insects.
It's okay. John the Baptist ate locusts, so
Yeah.
we can do that.
They're gonna be feeding us insects at the next economic reset with the World Economic
We'll be
Forum,
eating fake lettuce.
with Klaus Schwab.
Fake lettuce. With
Fake
what?
lettuce, fake cheese, fake steak that's been built in the lab.
Fake meat. You know the scraps of meat nowadays they just glue together with meat glue.
I heard, bro.
Oh yeah, I saw
Not
that too.
safe. And then they just roll it out, put it in the fridge, and then it looks like a real meat. Yeah, bro.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
That's what we eat today.
That's preposterous.
All right.
Anyway, I feel like I'm knocking off. Before we knock off though, if you guys been hearing about the alien stuff going on, the whistleblowers coming out, it's telling people that the ETs are real or not really. It's been on the news, by the way. So that's what I'm bringing it up. It's been on the news.
It's getting on the news now.
Yeah, so
I didn't know about that, man.
That's not news to me. At least for us people that are in tune to reality, that shouldn't be news to us. We should be like, yeah, we knew that a long time ago. Or unless I'm obviously overthinking that. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that there's actually aliens out there or not?
I have no idea.
I mean, we are out here. We are working on a rock that's cruising through space. We are here.
Yeah, zoom out. we on a rock floating
through space,
spinning around the sun with all the planets around it.
We're here.
The middle of nowhere.
The snakes, there's
just pure darkness and keeps expanding.
Wait, you're not answering my question,
out, brother.
You're not answering my question. You're not answering my questions. Do you think there's aliens?
I don't know, man.
In here on this planet Earth or not?
Why should I care about whether there's aliens or not? The devil is
in
prying
this
on
earth,
everyone
on
like a
earth, here with
lion,
us.
brother. Who cares about the
With
aliens?
us.
With us,
What?
I don't know. With
I
us, I
said the
don't know.
devil is prying on everyone like a lion waiting to hit the jugular.
Mm,
Why should I care about freaking aliens?
mm. Yeah, they may be the agents of the devil. You may never know. Or there may be the guys coming
Can
to
I
Who?
save
tell you my
you.
theory?
There may be
Yes.
the guys coming
Can
to
I tell
save
you my
you.
theory?
Mm.
I'll tell you my theory. I think, Lucas, you should care about aliens
Why?
because you
Why?
are spiritual. We are spiritual. We are spiritual being. We are spiritual being who are inbuilt in, and have this physical body and stuff. Aliens, in a sense, to me, how I understand what aliens are, right? I think the fallen angels, the angels that were, sent from heaven, casted out, you know, included with Lucifer, thrown out of the dimension of heaven. Obviously, we don't know where heaven is really. Out of that dimension, and they were thrown all around the solar system, all around the universe. The galaxy. They are spread out. All those fallen angels. Some fallen angels fell on planet Earth. And that's how you hear the story about the fallen angels who lasted on female humans and mated and created abominations who are the Nephilims.
So you're saying
And
that human
that's
beings have the power to hold fallen angels captive,
we didn't
brother?
we did not look, we do not hold fallen angels captives. However, we are capable of working together with them, and they are in the underground, hiding. They are not physical like us, like the way we are, but they can manifest themselves to interact with us. If they had to manifest themselves to sort of appear to be a little bit human, they will not appear like us because God made us. Only God can make us the way we look. And only us can procreate and create people that look like us. Aliens, angels, like even angels that live with God, they do not have the power to even appear themselves to look like us or even create a human being that look like us. Only God can do it. And us, humans. That's how we procreate, and God created us. But the aliens have like they still have the power. So that's what I think. They still have the power to sort of change, not shift, shape shift. They sort of can appear, look a certain way to try and interact with us, to try and show that hey, they're real and this and that. Because if they could appear physically, how would they have mated with the humans to create the babies that are called the Nephilims? Because that's how Jesus was born as well. Because that's how
Look,
John the Baptist was born
you
as well.
have to understand this. The word angel
Mhm.
just means messenger. That's it.
Yes. And also
That's it. That's all it means.
if
We
you let me
know
speak,
we know
yeah.
who we're talking about.
If you let me speak with that one, I've also heard of this one. The whole Nephilim
Mm.
thing of the angels meeting with the daughters of men was just at a time where the world was so isolated that when a new race ran into a new other race of people, like let's say like when the people that lived around the now, they were fairly white, yeah. When they first ran into like the blacks, yeah, it was something so new to them, something so shocking to them that to the point where they started calling, and the people that they saw, like the Nubians, like the Mansa Musa, blacks were rich as fuck. That like the richest person to ever live on earth was a black dude around those times. All right. They were into like the other races. They thought that those people like were the angels. And the abominations were like the mixed race people that were born of the interbreeding of the humans. And it was just a propagation of preventing races from interbreeding by the aristocrats of those societies, passed on through literature. That's basically it. That's not it. Not
Wow.
reading too much into it. Not reading too much into it. Not overthinking about it. That's what it was.
Where did
Because
you
even though
where did you
because
see that?
And the
because
heads and that's why till today. Actually, not even a long time ago, during the American Also with the Ku Klux Klan, that was also the most their preaching points as well too, of not the whites mating with the blacks and the segregation process of everything.
Yeah, but
It's
that's
like
nothing.
it's a
That's
repeating of
not
history of
race.
the
See,
demonization of
when you talk
humans.
about the Nephilims, you talk about two different kinds of race because there's human
Mm,
beings and something that is not human beings. But
mm.
black and
Yeah,
white,
the
we're just
Nephilims were not human
humans.
beings.
Well, they
There's
never
no
considered
freaking
anyone else
race.
as human being too, like the 1960s, bro. They never considered anyone as human until the 1960s. All right. They
Well,
never
yeah,
considered
that's
as human
facts.
beings. They never
That's
considered as human beings to
that's
the
facts.
1960s, bro. Until
Yeah,
You
before
know
that,
what I
you are not
say.
humans. You are demons.
yeah.
You are
Yeah, what I
monsters.
say.
Blah blah
I
blah.
know.
You are here
I
to rape
know.
their women. Your other stuff. That's what you. That's
Oh,
what
That
we
look at
were.
this guy right here.
That's what we were.
but that's
Look
how
at this guy. Where
that's
this
how
guy's
you
going?
gain power. That this been since the beginning, right? How do you gain power? Yeah, you want to conquer some land, but there's different people there. Okay, what do? I make my own people that think that those people are inferior to us based on their culture, their language, what they believe
Mm-hmm.
in, and the color
Mm,
of the skin, and so
mm,
on. Okay, once my people believe, we go and conquer the land, and then we bring the people over. Now we got to instill the same ideology into those people. The first generation will
Yeah.
fight back, but over time, the next generation start to believe, and then so on and so on, and then
mm,
they become more and more degraded and
mm,
become less and less like human.
mm.
That's individual thinking. All of this is for the sake of power.
Yeah, but a bit of
But
fun.
what
That
I'm
all the
saying
film figures want
about
to degrade
about
mixed
the
people. That's what it
nah,
was.
I think
Mm,
bruh, I can disagree with you on that one there. I can tell you that there's even evidence of the giants of deformed humans that existed. Not only that, there's books, old books that tell the same story. Asian books, African books, Greek books, Native American books. Not only those books as well, history, but you have them in the Bible as well. Not only in the Bible. I don't know if you guys have read the Book of Enoch. Book of Enoch, he actually makes it clear. He talks about it in a very intimate way and tells you what really happened. That book was actually excluded from, like the whole book was excluded from the Bible because it's actually like a horror movie. If you read it, I have it. It is like full on horror movie. It is scary. So like, if you have something like that in the Bible, that would scare some Christians, some soft Christians. So well, like, Jesus
Well,
is
that's
really
not
fixing
the
my
reason why
soul.
they didn't
Uh,
put there. That's
people die, people rape,
that's
people like
not.
angels.
Come on,
No, 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 no.
that's not the reason.
it was too much
But I
fantasy in
think
there.
that's the
That's
reason.
yeah.
Because
That's it.
otherwise,
I think
if you go by that, then yeah. Anyway, go on.
hey, I'm just speculating. Speculating.
All right,
All these are
speculative.
speculations.
All right.
Yeah. But like all these Nephilim stuff, it all falls back to aliens. I think aliens are real. And aliens are here and they're
But
here
it
to
depends
stay.
how
They're
you
not going
define
anywhere.
alien, because most people aliens are extraterrestrial beings. It's beings who lives in other planets who are much more intelligent than us. The
Mm,
technology
Okay.
that's far more advanced than us, and they
mm,
want to come here and destroy a planet and take our
mm,
people and study how
mm,
how we look on the inside
mm.
and
That's
why we're
definitely
so
not.
stupid.
That's not how it
When you
works.
say alien,
And
that's
that's
what
what the
everyone's
alien.
thinking.
Oh my God. Aliens, I think aliens are already here. They've always been here. And it's not like aliens are a creature or beings that are not like us. They're not built like us. They are something foreign that lives here that has superficial powers, sort of energy compared to us. But they cannot, but they don't have the ability because we evolve. Aliens don't evolve. We are
Because
the
the
ones that
word,
evolve.
the original meaning of the word alien just means belonging to a foreign country.
Foreign, something foreign.
No, but
But I'm talking about
belonging
things that we,
to a foreign
you know
country.
what I'm saying. You
I
know what I'm
know.
talking about. I'm not talking about, like like these words, you can understand the words, we can understand words differently, but I'm trying to talk about those things that we're talking about, like the green things that people always put on TV to look different. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they
Like
are
those
from
green
they
things
are
or those
foreigners. They're not from
like the
here.
grays. Yeah, yeah, they are foreigners, aliens, right? I'm I'm an alien in Australia,
Mm,
but then there's aliens to planet Earth,
mm,
which is not us. We come from planet Earth. We are from planet Earth, right? And then there's those things that came from a different dimension. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like this is just my theory, right? I'm thinking.
mm,
I'm just like thinking my big brain up here
mm,
without trying to go out and trying to get anyone else's information. I'm
mm,
thinking. I'm thinking the aliens were uh, casted out of a different dimension all around the universe. Some fell on planet Earth, and the ones that fell on planet Earth stayed here. And when they stayed here, obviously we were created and made, and we sort of started to live with each other and stuff. And they found a way on how they can interact with us and try to lead us, and and sort of bless us, give us the knowledge, and stuff. And in return, they're taking some stuff back away from us, like uh, for those people, when they give us stuff, like those aliens, when they give us knowledge and stuff, they have to get something in return. That's how it works for them, from what I understand. And in that essence, like when they started to mate with humans, they started to last on human females. They lasted, and they started to mate, and they created these creatures that was not humans. They were stronger, better, and every way about human. But they had the form. They had all this form that we have, but they were a little bit monstrous, atrocious stuff that were not supposed to be created. And they started to reign over us and take over, and trying to eradicate us. And that's when I feel like, and that's how you have those rumors of maybe that's why God was like, you know what, I'm gonna eradicate these people with the flood. And that's when the flood came in. Obviously, there was other reasons why, but one of the reasons as well was because of those people were beginning to take over the humankind, the humans that God created in His image. I'm just trying to put the pieces together. And those are the aliens. Some stayed, some died. Some they're in the ocean. That's why I don't eat octopus. Hey, don't judge
Oh
me.
man, octopus
Well,
delicious.
well, you don't really need to speculate with flowers, really,
Delicious.
because
Gotta eat them
there's
raw.
are you guys familiar with the Enuma Elish, the tablets?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With Epic of Gilgamesh, with the Sumerian tablets, yeah, we talks
Mm,
about the Anunnaki and all that stuff, yeah. It's
mm-hmm.
usually that, like some dudes came from above, came here, messed with us genetically as a slave race for them to mine gold for them, and then at some point, we became a little bit self-aware, we voted against them, and that is it's usually like just like a weird dance entanglement between us and the gods. And they talk about the creation of man um, in a similar fashion, a similar manner. And they talk about also how at some point they were not impressed with us too and decided to reset us. And they talk about the story of the Tower of Babel, how we try to build something to reach the sky. By the way, when I talk about it in the Inum Elish, yeah, it sounds more like we created something like the internet or something like that or like some form of like telescope that could take us into space. We could see much better into space. And whatever it was, the gods that were there, they want us to see what that was and destroyed the Tower of Babel, whatever that was. Because it was a point where we were like so unified, we were speaking a single language. We were like writing writing the similar ways. We were like on the same a common objective, which humans are almost redoing the same thing again. We want to make everyone speak English. We want to make everyone write in English. We want to make everyone, does that make sense? They want to make like a one word government, one word organization. It was basically that. That's what they did back in the days with Nimrod, with Tower of Babel. And the god that was around that time was like, no, 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 not on my watch. Bam, slammed it. And everyone, and deleted the database so no one could find translations for translating languages. You couldn't find anything to communicate with the next person from Swaziland or the person from Morocco because the database was destroyed. You couldn't communicate anymore. Does that make sense? That's what those tablets suggest. And so we were all the way to the floods. The floods were like the floods were a form of like them actually now burying everything that they created themselves, like some things that they created, some things that we created. By the way, we've seen like the trident thing of like the snake going around the stuff that the medical system often use, like the doctors and stuff like the hospitals. Yes, it goes back all to that. And them themselves, they claim they used the tablets, the uniform writing, because they understood that with time, everything weathers away. Even like I left this phone, yeah, for let's say 100 years, we're not finding this. The phone will be done. The battery will be degraded. The screen will be degraded. The model will be degraded. So them, they knew then, that's that how time works. So they would find like clay tablets. They'd write on the tablet so that those tablets can withstand like weather, like the rain, like fires, like earthquakes. So that at a point, if anyone digs in, they find those tablets, they can still find that information. They were actually very intelligent people, they're not idiots. They did not think of like, oh, let's write this on paper. They knew how paper would degrade. Then like, oh, anything can happen to like something digital. So it's that's the point of like now the technological research as well, while like technology keeps on resetting. Like when the technology advanced, that's a point to just resets. They become technology advanced, a point just resets. Because with them, they talk about how like they are the part to genetically create new creatures that mix like species and species and create a new chimera. They create the species and species create new something. Like I mean, like with the humans, the Adam and Eve story. It was an effort of creating the best human like through like genetic selective breeding. And it got to a point where like there were some people that were so far away from like the actual human genome and were causing the confusion, which were the Nephilims, aka the people that the dudes that came here, instead of doing their jobs of looking after the humans and guiding them properly and teaching them what they're meant to do them, dudes saw women like Nicki Minaj. They were like, all right, Nicki, I'm sorry, I'm an angel, but tonight I'm licking those armpits. I'm sorry. All right.
I did not see that one coming.
All right.
I did not see that
the
one
angels
coming.
fought for the Nicki Minaj, the Soca DB,
I
the
did
Soca
not
DB. They were
see
like,
that
damn.
coming.
They're like, damn, son. They're like, God created this. God is like, yeah, that's my creation, bro. Nicki, that's me. Yeah, that's me. And they're like, all right, God, give me 1 minute. I'm gonna go talk to Nick in the Garden of Eden. Yeah. And so they went in there. They found, first of all, Eve and Adam are doing their own thing. All right. Now we have to kick them out of the fucking in the garden. Yeah. And now off you go, Eve.
What are you rambling on about? What the hell is this story? Where are you going with this stuff?
I think the creator's creation, they kick Adam out of the thing, and then Adam and Eve with his offspring, they keep on doing their own thing over there again. They go like, all right, we have to reset this fully now, fully reset. And Noah was the only guy to make through that bubble, that pocket bubble. And apparently through Noah as well, humans did what humans do best. We repeated the same mistakes.
The only thing that's I want to say is this: isn't it funny that the tablets remained, but the people did not? However, the people who wrote the Tanakh, the books remained, and so did the people.
But that's way a long time ago though. Like you talk
Still,
about the civilization that literally invented writing in general.
because
Like,
you have to look at one thing. Whenever we talk about Jews and the Hebrew people, we go back to Moses. But there's a whole lot of things before that. That's
I mean, like a
there's a
whole,
whole
as
lot
we've
of
established, those mines in Africa, gold mines
There's a
40,000
whole
years
lot of things
ago.
before Abraham, right?
Yeah, it was
Oh.
reestablished 40,000 years ago.
No, even
Those were
in the
mining
Bible, even
already.
in the Bible, before
Mm.
Abraham, there's still a bunch of other things happening there.
Mm. Mm.
And let's be
That
honest, we don't know the exact timeline between when God created Adam and Eve and when they sinned.
mm.
We don't have that exact timeline. We don't know when that happened. When we read it,
But that definitely.
it seems like a movie, right? One scene next to the other, but we don't know the
Mm.
timeline.
Mm.
But how many days did it take after after God created the last thing, like after he created everything and he rested? No, he rested after he created Adam, after he created Eve. When did he rest? On the third day.
What?
Oh
He
no, on the
rested.
seventh day.
No, God
Yeah,
rested on the
God
seventh
rested.
day. Seventh day.
When so what did he create on that on the seventh day or on the sixth day?
Man,
Do you remember? Sorry?
humans beings with the last thing,
That's
wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
By the
So after
way,
creating
that's
human beings,
that
he
also
rested,
in
yeah?
in science, that's chronologically accurate, by the way, too. The way the Bible
And
goes about how it created things,
I
yeah?
think it was. I
It's
think the human
accurate.
beings were the last thing that God created.
yeah,
Mm.
human
think-
beings were the last thing that got created.
Mm.
And obviously, second, so in the Bible, it says first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, and seventh day. But at the same time,
However,
again, it did not work like that because God's one day to God can be gazillions years to
no,
us.
but
No,
that's
we
just
understand that's
that's
allegorical, of course. We are
uh
adults here.
no
We
no that
understand all that.
that part
Come on, man.
that part is God setting time itself,
Mm.
and also
Yeah,
that time is different than it is now because
Yeah.
if
compared
you
to
read
now.
it, it
Yeah, I
says
think.
there was evening, then there was morning, then there was a first day. So the first
So yeah,
day,
so it set the day.
the day
Yeah.
starts at evening and finishes in the morning.
Mm.
Now we do it reversed. The day starts in the morning and finishes at evening. This is how we live now.
Mm. But in the Bible also it says that one day to God is how long?
That's just an analogy to point out that God's outside time.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's outside time. So I think based on the creation as well, the creation did not work based on how we understand it, that he actually took him a day or two or three or four or fifth or seventh day, he created man and stuff like that, and then he rested. That could have taken maybe thousands of years. When he
Right.
created animals and created men, that could have taken even thousands of years or even hundreds of years. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm.
So just time
And I
dilation.
think, and I think when Adam and Eve were created, there was already humans there before.
That's what the tablets say. The knowledge tablets say that there's already hominids that were here before, and those that were made by the god was a imitation of them with that. And by the way, the destruction of the Egyptians, like art and stuff too, is also spoken about in that, like how they broke the nose of the Sphinx and stuff. Cool stuff. But of course, when I read when you read that, when you're reading that, read it like just like you're reading Avengers. It's Marvel. There's a Thanos. There's Tony Stark's. Sorry, that's what it is. Which is what I believe it is. By the way, it's just like it's such a mad story of like Avengers that the ancient people of the ancient times kept so pristine. They kept it. They're like, this may actually teach society a few things if you let it roll full time. That's the day that they don't on papers, they don't on like trees, they don't look like on metal, they knew what they were doing. It was so well preserved. Like if you look at them, yeah, they're so well preserved. Like if even today, if we're gonna send a message to our descendants 2,000 years in the future, that's literally the only way we can do it. By engraving it into something that's indestructible. Literally, that's the only way. But as we look at them and go like, oh, look, they are writing on rock. You are right to go rock.
Did you guys
Are
know?
you serious, bro?
Talk about rock. Do you guys know about the Ark of the Covenant?
Oh yes.
Apparently, it's somewhere
Ethiopia?
in Ethiopia,
I heard that one. I heard that one.
and the monks who take care of it, coincidentally, after a few years, they go blind and they die.
That's crazy.
Like
See, that's
within
technology. That's
they
forgotten technology.
they die in a certain amount of years.
It's forgotten technology.
Technology, man.
Forgotten technology that we don't know
It's just
about.
the radiation of the glory of
Mm.
God in that thing.
Mm.
You're not supposed to touch it, bro. You're supposed to touch it.
Yeah.
All right.
I have another question. I think this should be the last question, and then we can part off. Yeah, we can ponder around.
Almost
I
midnight.
think. Just thinking.
Think you're allowed to think.
Yeah, just thinking, right? There was humans that were created before Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve come based on the Bible. You see that Adam and Eve were created in the image of God, right? Adam was created in the image of God, and Eve was created from Adam's rib, right?
Side.
That's
which may be a translation error, by the way. The rib one I've heard.
Side.
So
Side, not
error.
rib. Side.
You get what I'm saying. I'm just saying the stuff that you understand. You guys are adults, you know what I'm saying.
Side.
I don't want to start teaching, not talking like I'm talking to babies up here. No, come on, Braz. So that happens, right? Adam and Eve sin, but they're created in the image of God. Therefore, they're created with the knowledge of good and evil, and they discover it, and then they sin, and they make babies, and then both their babies kill each other.
I thought Adam and Eve became self-aware when they ate the fruit. They were initially not self-aware. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Did you hear what I just said? You know what I'm saying.
Now, for the sake of people watching, you're on YouTube.
Yeah, you gotta get the thing accurate, bro.
You have to get the thing accurate.
Okay.
Right now.
I can't start talking. So you need to be able to be in tune with what I'm explaining.
All right, dear listeners, you've heard it from him. Take it up with him.
Yeah, be in tune with what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is not the place for you to learn about what I'm talking about. You go find some good place where you can get to actually understand what I'm trying to say. But this is not the place, right? But what I'm trying to say is, right, Adam and Eve were created with the knowledge of good and evil. They did not have it before they ate the fruit. Obviously, it's something that we do not know what really happened there. That's a story, right? So because they were created in the image of God, they were created with the knowledge of good and evil. They sin, they come aware of the knowledge of good and evil. Because of that, they have babies. After they have babies, their two babies kill each other. They fight, they kill each other. One gets casted out by God, right? One goes out. And then Adam and Eve decide, you know what? It's just the two of us again here. Let's make another baby. So they make another baby. And when they make another baby, that baby is born, grown, goes out in the world and meets his elder brother. His elder brother, not only does he meet his elder brother, but he also meets another civilization that his elder brother mixed with, obviously created is also obviously in his sort of group or civilization sort of. He mated with another woman and created a civilization over there, and they chilled out. And so that little brother went out there and finds his brother. There's a lot of things that happen, obviously, but he finds him over there. Me, in my head, I'm thinking, where did the other woman come from that Cain mated with?
Incest, baby.
I'm thinking, where did all the other humans that the third born for Noah and for Adam and Eve, where did those guys come from? Because there was humans like it's written in the Bible how he actually meets all those people and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, well, there must have been civilizations or humans before Adam and Eve, but those people were sort of not created with the knowledge of good and evil, so they were living in harmony. But after Adam and Eve, that's when the sort of sin came in and the thorns were grown like on the earth and things just became hard for people to live and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking, my brain is just thinking about it to just try to understand, but we can never really understand at this point. Me, I'm just thinking, you know, because there's a lot of information out there, lots of information, but I'm trying to listen to what the spirit is trying to tell me, you know, in terms of what I'm really seeking for, what I'm trying to understand. Really, that's what I'm pondering on. What do you guys think about that particular situation? You know, where, you know, when Cain went out and found, where did Cain find a woman to make babies with? And where did those people that, you know, the third born for Adam and Eve, where did those people come from? The ones that he also saw in the Bible, because he actually explains that. They say that he met other people and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. What are your speculations, or what do you guys think happened there?
Well, with that one, oh shit, it's 12 a.m. 2 a.m. Thank you.
It's 12 a.m. Yeah, after this we bounce, we off.
Yeah, but with that one, I think the answer is put around us too with that one. You can look into many different things to show that there has always been a plethora amount of humans and a different source of our human genetics that has contributed to what we are today, yeah, to create to what we are today, Homo sapiens sapien. And so the end game of the whole Garden of Eden story was Noah, yeah, who was the last descendant of all those people, and then the new generation started after that, yeah. And during that time, you hear Noah talking about people that he invited to jump on the ark with him that didn't want to jump on the ark. And obviously, again, we need to take into consideration that those stories are being written narratively based off a particular geographical point of the world. Yeah, there have been other places in the world where history would have been happening and going on and living their own lives. Hence, we see the different stories of the floods, by the way, around the world. And with all that evidence, with even our DNA or genetic blueprint, also evidence as well, you can all take it back to the Eve gene, yeah, which is what the Alaka scientists called it, the Eve gene, because the Eve gene is where all of us come from. That's the #1 genetic spread of all the modern day mitochondria that we have in our genetics. And then before that, we have now the other sapiens, so which is like the Homo habilis, Zinjanthropus, Neanderthals, Kenyapithecus. Yeah, those are the other species that are like Homo sapiens as well. All right. Some may
I'm trying to stay awake.
some may have had different variation, like maybe they have been shorter. Some may have had more fur on them. Some may have had stronger like stalk like arms for better hunting. Some were maybe good at swimming. Even today, you can still see that the same difference in humans as well, like the Maoris. Or there's a type of people that live in, like, I think Sumatra or something, that can dive underwater longer than the average person. Or another one where Jamaicans can run longer than the average person. Or the other one where Jews have a crazy IQ compared to the average person. Does that make sense? We were like this. There will be the same difference with those things as well, but somehow, so for some weird reason, all the other species of the Homo genus went extinct. Only Homo sapien remained. Does that make sense? Like all of them went extinct. So the only thing that's left is like me and Lucas and anyone else that's out there. So the 0.001% difference. And everything else died out. However, you can still trace Neanderthal DNA in some people. You can still trace Cro-Magnon DNA in some people. That's like evidence. You can see it like when you do your ancestry tree thing, yeah? When it shows where you come from, the sub-Saharan, it will show you if you've got Neanderthal, if you've got Cro-Magnon, if you've got all that stuff, it will show you. Yeah. So I feel like that story, not the Garden of Eden story, is an allegory for there's a point on Earth where everything was living like that in harmony, and there's a rule that all those species are to follow, and only one of them followed it, which was the Noah lineage, for they built the ark and survived that blockage, that flooding, or if the flooding was allegorical, then it's allegorical. If the flooding was real, then it was real. And dude built an ark and everyone died out and he survived. But otherwise, would have been a lot of things looking like us walking around. Some that were giants, like Goliath, some that were small, some that were like magic. Does that make sense? Which one you want to look at it? But that's my answer. There's always been a lot of us. There's less of us now. And I feel like we're also losing our spiritual side as well. The more there's less of us, the more they're losing the spiritual side of us. Lucas looks like he's about to pass the fuck out. Let's go.
Basically, my answer is this. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
It's time to go night, bruv.
Yes, until next time. Take it easy.
Peace
Have a good
out.
night, people. Next week.
Like, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, all that
Yes.
stuff.
Yes,
Share
yes,
with your
yes.
parents, with
All
your
that
friends.
good stuff. All that good stuff. Have a
All
good
right,
night, people.
peace.
And see you next week.
The B.R.A. sign out.